Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Max. I run an SNMA, a super niche marketing agency. And on this channel, we basically just explore how to start, run, and grow a successful marketing agency that can help us generate great results for our clients, but also help us as the aspiring entrepreneur or as the entrepreneur to achieve financial, time, and location freedom. So if you think that the concept of an SNMA or a super niche type of business sounds interesting, consider subscribing and following along on the journey. In today's video, I want to talk about some of the lessons that I learned from serving a $30 million per year business owner. These are some amazing lessons that you can basically apply to any endeavor or any type of business in your life. It could be like a business endeavor, or maybe you're an aspiring athlete or painter or whatever it might be. This can really be applied to anything. Those lessons really helped me a ton in my life and in my business, so I'm hoping that's going to help you as well. First of all, I'm going to talk about the concept of just do it, then thinking long term, keep it simple, scale what works, and then finally that focused work is key. So let's dive into it. So the first concept that I want to talk about, and the first lesson that I learned from my mentor essentially, was to just do it. And I'm sure you recognize that slogan. It's the Nike slogan, to just do it. But this is something that my mentor basically lived by. If you kind of know different personality types, we're all humans. We're basically different personality type. There are Myers-Briggs tests out there. There are DISC tests out there. There's a ton of different personality tests out there that are very interesting. And we as humans, we have different personality types, we also have different belief systems, and we have different belief systems and character traits that can either serve us, and then we have some other character traits or belief system that doesn't serve us. So some of us, for example, we are visionaries, we want to think big, and we kind of want to get new ideas, and we love to think. And some other people, they like to refine things and improve on plans. Some people are more kind of like analytical people, they're kind of more refining people as well. Some people are more like action takers. They don't want to think so much or don't want to have too many visionary plans. They just want to have like a to-do list and just execute and just do things essentially. My point here is that we're all different, but the concept that my mentor taught me, and he was more of a visionary, but he was also a very good action taker. And what he told me was that, you have to do things. You just have to do it sometimes. When you build a plan, or when you set up a plan, or when you are thinking out a visionary plan of yourself or your future or your business or whatever it might be, you have to execute it on it as well. Because if you have a great plan and you're not executing anything, you're not doing anything, nothing is going to happen in your business or in your life. And he told me this as well, that you just have to do it. Sometimes you just have to shut off your brain, stop the thinking, and then you just do it. And I think it's great to think long term and to have a great vision and to kind of create like an architect plan of what it is that you want to do. I think it's very important. I love to do that, at least, that you just set a long-term goal, a long-term plan, then you can kind of reverse engineer it into how am I actually going to get there. And if you reverse engineer it the right way, most of the time it kind of comes down to very basic things that you can do every single day. So let's say I want to grow an agency earning $10,000 per month or $100,000 per month or $500,000 per month or $1 million per month. And okay, so how am I actually going to get there? And if you're running an SNMA like I do, a super niche marketing agency, or maybe you're running any other type of business, it doesn't really matter. What you have to do then is kind of, okay, how many clients do I need every single month? How many new clients do I need every single month? How am I going to get those clients, for example? Am I going to run ads? How much am I going to spend on ads? How many sales calls do I need? How can I get those sales calls? Should I do some ads? Maybe I should do some organic outreach. Maybe I can do some outreach via social media, or maybe I can do some emails, send some emails every single day, let's say. Or maybe I should hire an appointment setter and have him to do that for me. Or maybe I should create like a long-term plan and create some videos and create a niche there, or build my brand. I think you see what I'm saying here, that you just have to do it, and you just have to like think out a vision, reverse engineer it into a daily plan, and then just do it. Don't think about it, trust the plan, just do it, and that's how you get results essentially. The second lesson that I learned from my $30 million per year mentor was that you have to think long term. And this is something that I heard from the beginning when I started my own business, that you have to think long term, and I didn't really understand what it meant until I heard it from my mentor, and also until I started to read some about investing. Because when it comes to investing, you can basically invest in multiple different ways. And the way that I learned it was, when you do stock investing, for example. Because when it comes to investing, you can basically invest in different ways. And I started to learn a little bit about investing in stocks. And the person that I learned some investing in from was John C. Bogle. He wrote the book Common Sense Investing. He's the founder of Vanguard. So if you're investing I'm sure you know what Vanguard is. Warren Buffett talks a lot about Vanguard as well. But basically what John C. Bogle did was that he was kind of the inventor of the index funds. So basically what index funds investing is that you're basically just investing in the market. So you can invest in S&P 500, let's say. So instead of investing in only an Apple and kind of putting all of your eggs in one basket, when you do index funds, you're basically investing in the S&P 500, let's say. You're basically investing in the US market. So you're basically betting that the US market is going to increase over time, and over the lifetime of the S&P, it has like increased with 7 to 10% every single year, so it's a really good return. But this is kind of going off on a tangent, but basically what it comes down to is that when you run a business, or when you want to do anything, maybe you want to invest your money, or maybe you want to grow your business, or you want to create a better body or health for yourself, you have to think long term. So for example, with investing, if you invest a little bit of money every single month and you do an index fund, you have to do that over a long period of time to get the compound effect, kind of like a hockey stick, because you get interest on interest, and that's kind of how you get the compound effect when you do investing. Same thing when you run a business. If you think long term and you only do super niche, let's say, and you're only selling to super niche client, over time you're also going to get the compound effect, because people are going to tell other people. And same thing if you do YouTube videos, let's say. If you do videos consistently, you think long term, in the beginning you might get no views or very few views, but over time you get that compound effect and compound growth. Same thing with your body. Like you go to the gym, you work out for a month, nothing is happening. You go there the second month or the third month, you don't really see big results, but then over time you just get stronger. You don't really noticing it, and it also creates this compound effect. So it's very important that when you dig into any type of endeavor, and this is what I learned from my mentor, is that you just have to think long term. Don't be short-minded. Don't think that you're gonna get results after a day or two or a week. You have to go for the long term. Really put up a plan for a year, 2 years, 5 years. Do a 10-year plan. Maybe you do a plan for your business for your entire life. That's really what you should do. That's when you get great results. The next lesson that I learned from my $30 million per year mentor was just to keep it simple. And this really goes back to the concept of my SNMA agency as well, the super niche marketing agency. Just to keep it simple. Don't only have a niche, have a super niche. Just keep it simple. I'm only having one service that I'm selling to one specific market or one specific niche. And this was the point for my mentor as well. And he really told me, like, Max, like, you should just keep it simple in everything that you do. The more you can simplify things, the easier it's going to be to scale as well. And it is so true. Like, just think about it. If you're trying to scale something and you have a ton of different variables, a ton of different things that needs to be in place for you when you get a new client, let's say, or when you get a new employee, let's say, or whatever it might be, the simpler things are, the easier it's going to be to scale it, essentially. So let's say you have one client, you have one service, you have one offer, you have one delivery, and you're trying to scale that. Pretty simple. A new client comes in, you just copy paste that, you have a new client up and running, and then you get another one up and running, then you have another one up and running. If you hire somebody that, because you're now getting too many clients, so now you need to hire somebody, then you can just teach them, okay, we're doing this one thing to this specific client, this is how we do sales, this is how we do our service delivery, this is how we build our campaigns. One, it's very simple. Here you can do that, and in a couple of days they will be up and running and understand everything because you've just kept it simple. Versus, let's say you have multiple different clients, multiple different services in multiple different areas, multiple different languages, everything is different. Now it's very hard to scale because now you get another client, then you have to figure that out, or you have to figure out the new service delivery, and then the new ads platform, the new client, you have to learn their business, and then you get another one, and now you have to dabble all of these things. So everything is, it's just better to keep it simple in everything that you do. And I think this, it's a concept that the more successful people you listen to, they're kind of obsessed with this. You know, if you listen to like Steve Jobs, I haven't read too much about him, but I've just heard, you know, he was just obsessed with everything to keep it simple. When he moved into one of his new apartments in California, I think way back when he was kind of in his younger years and started to get some success with Apple, he was so obsessed with having like simplicity and in the minimalistic lifestyle that he didn't like have any type of furnitures in his home that could like distract him. And that's kind of taking it to the extreme end side of things, but the concept is so true, just to keep it simple. The next lesson that I learned from my $30 million per year mentor was to just scale what works. In the beginning, when you start a business or when you start any type of endeavor or any type of business really, and you're trying to find that proof of concept initially, right? That's like mission number one. when you start a business, you kind of create a business plan, and I'm talking about on this channel how important it is to have an SNMA, in my case, a super niche marketing agency, but it can really be applied to any type of business, a super niche personal trainer or whatever it might be, right? You kind of create a business plan, and you are deciding that you're only gonna help one specific niche or one specific client with one specific problem. You're gonna have one service, and you're only gonna do one thing for one specific person, essentially, because you just want to keep it simple, because you can scale it that way, and it's just gonna make it easier, right? So my point here is that when you've started the business, you have your business idea, you know that you're gonna go for a super niche type of business, and then you start to onboard your first clients, and you get your first clients, and you just trying to find what works, essentially, right? That's like mission number one: find the proof of concept, trying to find that flame, right? You're just having some different type of wood, you have some different type of flint to stone, you have some different type of whatever it might be, right? And you're trying to get that fire to work, and you're just throwing in some different variables there, some different type of wood, some different type of paper, you're testing different types of knives to the different types of flint to stone, right? And you're trying to get that spark, you're trying to find what works, just throwing together some different variables, and then you find that thing that works. You find, oh shit, now I'm actually getting some fire here, and then you can take that fire to your another base or your another client, right? And you're trying to do the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna use the exact same variables as I did in my base camp number one. I'm gonna use the exact same knife, the exact same wood, paper, flint to stone, and everything, and see if I can get a fire in this base camp as well. You try it, and it works. Kind of like you're getting to a new client. You use the same variables from your past clients and see if you can get the same results there, and you do. And then you just do that with more base camps, or you do that with more clients, and trying to find that works, what actually get that fire going, essentially. And when you do, that's when you find a proof of concept. You have like the variables that is working, and it's duplicate, and it's scalable, essentially. You can duplicate it over and over again. That's when you should scale it. So scale what works basically means that you have your different base camps. Now go back to that little small fire, that little small flame you have, and throw some gasoline on. That's how you scale what works. That's how you go from a small flame to a huge flame. And in my case, for example, if I run ads for a client and we find that specific ad and we find that specific landing page that is working, I can just tell the client that, hey, we're finding a proof of concept here. This is working really, really well in your area. Do you want to scale it? And then you just scale what works. And it can be applied to anything again. Like if I know, oh, this new type of sales call that I do with this specific pitch deck, it's working really well. Okay, we're selling, we're closing 60% of everybody that we talked to right now. We have a good cost per lead, a good cost per appointment. Let's scale it. Let's spend more money to ads, or let's spend more time creating YouTube videos, or just find what works and scale it, essentially. And then the final thing that I learned from my $30 million peer mentor, and this is probably the most important lesson that I learned, and it kind of ties together with everything, but it's just focused work is key, essentially. And when you know how to do focused work, that's really the key. And so what I mean by that is that if you're doing distracted work, right? And there's a great book on it. Let me bring it actually. There's a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. It was quite a while ago that I read this book, but basically what the book talks about is deep work, and it's kind of what my mentor meant as well when he said that focused work is key. And it's basically, when you create that long-term plan, and when you have that goal, and when you kind of break it down and kind of know what it is that you have to do to kind of get there. If you're just doing that focused work and you're only doing that focused work, you're gonna get to your goal a lot quicker. Rather than if you don't have focused work, maybe you don't even have a goal or a plan, or maybe you don't even know where you want to get to, and you definitely don't know how you're gonna get there because you haven't reversed engineered like how you're gonna get there. So you don't know how many emails you should send every single day, or how much you should spend on ads every single month to get those sales calls that you need to get more clients coming in. Or maybe you're a YouTuber, maybe you want to get more subscribers, and you don't know what your goal is, you don't know how many videos you should create every single week to kind of get there, or how many people you should reach. So you don't have that focused work, which is key. You're just doing distracted work. So you can work like 10 hours per day doing distracted work, and you're never gonna get as far as if you were doing focused work for like 2 hours per day. And believe me, for some people it sounds crazy, but that's kind of what he talks about in the Deep Work book as well, is that what he kind of wants people to start doing is that you just block out 3 to 4 hours, or really, I think he's mentioning 3 hours in the book, that every single morning you do focused work for 3 hours, and you basically just do one thing for 3 hours. You can basically get more work done in 3 hours than you would do doing distracted work for like an entire week. So basically focused work is just shutting everything out, just doing one thing for 3 hours. And distracted work is basically you come to the computer in the morning, you don't know what you do, so you're kind of opening your email inbox, and then you find an email thread, and then you start to reply to a client, and then you go to YouTube because you're gonna find a solution to a thing. But then in the sidebar you say, oh, this is interesting, and then you're looking at some golf videos for 35 minutes or a Joe Rogan podcast for an hour. And then somebody calls you, somebody sends you a text message, then you get a notification on your phone because somebody liked your Instagram picture, and then at the end of the day you have really not accomplished anything. So that's really distracted work, and focused work is just, okay, today I'm only going to build better landing pages for 3 hours, or today I'm only going to write new ad copy, or today I'm going to record videos in the morning like I'm doing right now, or today I'm only going to do this specific task that is in line with my goal essentially. So focused work is key, and you're gonna save up so much time for yourself if you're able to do focused work. So instead of doing distracted work and stressing yourself out for 10 hours per day, not accomplishing everything, you can do focused work for 3 hours every single day, and then you have a ton of hours over. So maybe you can do something that you enjoy. You can spend some more time with your friend or your girlfriend or your family, or go out for a hike, or go to the gym, or go and play some golf with your parents or friends or whatever now, right? You can do some other things, play a video game, you know. I can't play video games because I'm gonna get too addicted to them, but maybe you can. So yeah, my point here is that focused work is key. Okay, so that's basically it for today's video. We basically talked about how important it is to just kind of do it, just go for it. It can help you to kind of find out what character trait you have, what type of personality type you have. I can recommend Myers-Briggs. It's free. You can just Google Myers-Briggs. You can do that test. You can find your personality type. But the main thing is that it doesn't matter what character trait you have or what personality type you have. You just have to learn how to just do it. Just shut off your brain and just do it. The next thing we talked about was to just think long term. It's going to serve you a ton if you can think long term and do long-term goals. You know, you can read some about investing if you think that's interesting, learn some more about index funds, and you know, if you read those books, the only thing that they really talk about is to think long-term with your investing, not investing in the short term, trying to like change it all the time and take out your money because you're being stressed because the markets go down. If you do index investing, index funds investing, you just have to do that over like 30-40 years to see great returns. And that can be applied to anything in life. Just think long-term. We talked about the importance of keeping it simple. You know, again, I run an SNMA. That's what I talk about on this channel, Super Niche Marketing Agency. But you know, keep it simple in everything. A super niche personal trainer, let's say, or I'm gonna have a super simple workout plan and a super simple diet plan, because that's gonna help me get better results for myself to achieve my goals faster. Or if I'm a personal trainer, I'm just gonna have a super simple diet plan, a super simple workout plan that people can actually follow and like and get great results from. The fourth lesson that I learned from my $30 million per year business mentor was that you scale what works. Find that little flame, find that proof of concept, find that little thing that is working, and then just scale it to the moon. And then finally, focused work is key. You know, do 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 work. Just do 2 to 4 hours of focused work every single morning, and you're gonna be able to accomplish more doing it that way than doing distracted work for 10 hours. It's like night and day. So again, I recommend turn off all your notifications, don't check your email in the morning, put a sign on your door that you're working, that you don't want to get disturbed. Buy a pair of like, you know, those type of Bose headphones, for example, that can kind of block out the noise, so you can just sit and do focused work for 2 to 4 hours, and you're gonna be amazed on how much work you can get done essentially. So yeah, that's basically it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, consider liking, subscribing, leave a comment down below if you have anything on your mind that you want to discuss. I'm gonna reply to all of the comments myself. And yeah, if you want to check another video, you can click here to check that out. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.